Look, you guys know that I revile Breaking Dawn personally, and a lot of you who follow me do as well. And you might think that there's nothing could be worse than the demon baby and that whole macabre horror pregnancy AU that we had to sit through, and Jacob becoming a happy slave to Bella and Edward's weird little demon kid. You might think there's nothing worse than that. Sadly, you would be wrong about that, and there is actually one reason why I have to give flowers to Breaking Dawn and why I am forever grateful that it exists. And a bunch of you just tagged me in this video laying it out because of what potentially would have become of the Twilight Saga had it been a trilogy and not a 4-part series. According to Stephanie, Twilight Lexicon just made that video and she's talking about something that I had heard of before that is so deeply cursed and disturbed that I don't really even like to talk about it, especially during Holy Week. But, you know, since it was brought up, Twilight Lexicon worked on the illustrated guide. She had like a close relationship with Stephanie at one point. You've probably seen her videos, but apparently Stephanie originally had a 3-book deal for Twilight, and she was really set on the Renasbury plotline. And she thought, you know, if Bella's going to become a vampire, that results in the demon baby, and that's it, right? So she had this idea, if she only got 3 books, that Bella would stay human, but she would have to end up with Edward somehow. So because Jacob is a shapeshifter and his spirit can leave his body, Edward would inhabit Jacob's body and Bella would be with Edward's spirit inside Jacob's body. Now, it's hard to know where to start with that, but that would actually, and you might think it wouldn't have been possible, that actually would be perhaps an even greater horror story than Breaking Dawn was. First of all, I'd like to add that doesn't make like a ton of sense to me, to be honest with you, but it does sound like something the old man would do. It's also just like disturbed on so many levels because, so you're telling me that it wasn't enough that the Cullens like terrorized a small community, impeded on the Quileute land like more than once. Edward is going to colonize Jacob's body to be with Bella. And then you think about that and it's like, where does Jacob's spirit go then? I guess into a wolf, so he lives as an animal for the rest of his life? Like, that might be worse. This is why we're still talking about Twilight, because you just think you've heard the most absurd cursed thing, and you haven't. It harkens to several horror books and movies that I can think of, one of them being Get Out. I can't even express at this present moment how disgusted I am by that on all levels, and I always have been. But I will say also, it's giving, so you think Jacob is hotter.